We took our podcast right down to the Grand Rapids Bridal Show at the DeVos Place and sat down with a number of vendors and did a podcast right at the bridal show. We've all seen photo booths, but we sat down and talked with a really unique one built out of a vintage camper. Welcome to the Wedding Planning Experts podcast, hosted by Dan and Andrea DeWard, owners of Full Circle Weddings. After 25 years in the wedding industry, owning and operating multiple wedding venues, hosting hundreds of ceremonies and receptions, we provide tips to help brides and grooms plan their weddings stress-free and on budget. So let's dive in and talk about all things weddings. So Dan and Trish, welcome to the Wedding Planning Experts podcast. We're excited to talk about your mobile photo booth called the Shooting Comet. So welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we'd like to get started and ask you about your business. And how did you get started with this concept?
Well, I actually was working for someone else doing a traditional pipe and drape photo booth, and it was good. But our daughters are adopted from China, and so one of our fellow adopter families started one of these in Georgia, and I saw it on their social media, and I said to Dan, "That's really cool. We should do that." And Dan has another full-time busy job, and he was not quite as enthused about it as I was.
I saw him shaking his head. No,
yeah, he was shaking his head. Yeah. And I was not deterred. I was like, I'm going to keep looking. And so I started looking for campers. I started looking on Instagram and seeing who else did that kind of thing, asking them questions, calling them and asking questions. And within about a week, I had found a camper, and Dan was like, well, okay, we can go see it. And then once he saw it, he really started to kind of get the vision, and he was like, this might be really cool. So,
did you, when you found the camper, did you have to build the camper out totally?
No. So there was a gentleman in Flint, and I had called him about a Shasta camper he had for sale, and I told him what I wanted to do with it, and he was like, oh my goodness, I have a camper. He said, I've just redone the outside. It was a disaster when he found it. Like, the whole back end was gone, because it's a 1956 camper. And so he said, I've got it all fixed up on the outside, but he said, I don't have any of the inside done. And he said, that might be perfect for you. And I was like, that would be perfect. So that's how we found the camper. So we went to see it, and we were like, yeah, we could make this work.
So the inside, obviously, I noticed it was really bright. It was a lot of white in there, which is for photography is really good, so you don't have weird colors in your pictures. So did you have to, was it done that way, or did you paint the whole inside? And
so when we got the trailer, he had like a tan bamboo wall. And of course, we wanted the green, a lot of light colors. So I ended up just doing a really thin shiplap over everything, and then just painting it what you see there. So
nice. And that's great for photography. You can control the environment with your lighting then, so your images come out so much better, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly.
And especially if you've got a background with the other typical type of photo booths, the drape photo booths.
Yeah.
You'll get drapes sometimes, but if you don't have a roof over you, you get the weird fluorescent lighting and everybody looks yellow.
Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. And I wanted it to look really kind of a classic, traditional look to it, where it would go with any style wedding. So if you had a boho wedding, or if you had a more modern, contemporary, hopefully that look would be, classic and just work with everything.
Yeah, and you did a really nice job on the exterior. It looks really pretty.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The other thing too we noticed with some other trailers that we've seen over the time is, if they've been redone, they take the windows out,
Yeah.
right, and basically make it so there was no outside light coming in, and we didn't want that. We wanted it as bright and airy as we can.
Which is kind of neat, because I'm thinking in an event, and especially a wedding, people can look inside and see
Yes.
people having fun, and especially when it gets lower lit, it
Yes.
seems like it would be really attractive.
Yes. We've actually had some people that go stand in the back window and they photobomb the people
Oh, I can
that are
see that.
inside, and it's kind of fun to see that.
That would be fun. Good marketing PR photos right there. Yeah. So when you pull up to an event, wedding or any other type of event you're doing, what are your requirements? What do the clients need to have available to you? Just a typical 20 amp outlet, or do you need more power than that?
Nope. 15 amp would be enough for us.
Oh, which is good, because if you're running a long extension cord, sometimes it draws a little extra power.
So yeah, just a simple 15 amp outlet is all we need.
Nice. How many, on average, or roughly, how many weddings are you guys doing a year with this?
I would say anywhere from 25 to 30. Our biggest year was 33, and that was too much because Dan has a real job that he's working during the week. And so that was a little bit crazy. So I would say We like to stay between 25 and 30.
Okay, and that's still busy during the time
still
of the
busy.
season that you're getting in Michigan, you know.
Yes.
From May to October, that's pretty much every weekend.
Right. So what is your package structure like? I mean, is it a 3 or 4 hours or a minimum hourly structure that you do for clients?
Yeah, we offer a 3-hour package and a 4-hour package. And I would say 90% of people do the 3-hour. It's unless you're over 300 people, it's more than sufficient to get everybody through.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we'll give them the option of being able to do like the 3 hours straight, or if they want us to operate during the cocktail hour and then be down during dinner and then finish up after dinner, we do that probably 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up. That's really nice that you do that, because a lot of people do like to use those photo booths during cocktail hour to kind of break the ice with everybody so they have fun.
Yeah. Well, the first thing people always do after the wedding is done, they go to the bar.
Yeah.
And then we're usually parked pretty close to the bar, so they're pretty much coming right over to us right afterwards. So it's a nice little flow and gets something for people to do.
Yeah, and kicks the party off like with good energy right away.
Right.
Exactly.
Because usually the bride and groom are off doing photos,
Yep.
and that could take even up to an hour and a half, depending on, where they're going to do their photos. So it gives people something to do while they're waiting, and they love it.
And I'm guessing the majority of the events you're doing, obviously they're outdoor events,
Mostly.
barn venues, different things like that. So having your controlled environment in there, which is great, because the typical photo booths with the curtains, wind makes them fly everywhere. They just don't work outside well. So
Right.
yours would be perfect for that type of an event.
Yep. Works out really good.
And we can go inside if they have a commercial door, because it's not that big a camper. So it can go inside, and we do go inside.
What's your height?
8 feet.
8
I
feet.
think? Yeah.
Oh, so you could, if they had a 10-foot garage door, or you could get into it. What about width?
6 feet.
So a typical garage door, as long as it's at least more than 8 feet, you could get into. Oh, that'd be interesting in a garage or something.
Yeah.
We've been in some pretty tight spaces with it, so
Yeah.
it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So in your photo booth, are you also providing prints the night of? Is it like a keepsake, or is it just digital?
So everybody that goes into the trailer comes away with a photo strip.
Oh,
And that's one of the
nice.
things that we sell, because a lot of people will usually just do 1 photo strip or 2 photo strips, or they don't do them at all. It's all digital online. We can do that same thing, but we kind of go to market and say everybody going in gets one. And we've had 22 people in the trailer at one time,
Wow.
and which was a lot of fun. It looked like a clown car, people coming out, right? But everybody, all 22 walked out with a photo strip. Yeah, and little kids, they'll come back 15, 20 times in a night. And for them, it's about collecting the photo strips.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, great memories built there. Yeah, 22. That would be fun to
Little-
see.
It was a little bit too heavy for our camper. Afterwards, the vintage camper groups that I belong to were like, you should not have let that many people in. It was too much. So now we try to stick to like 15.
Yeah,
Always
well,
max.
still 15 is a
Yeah,
lot.
still a lot.
Well, we started out like that, but I kind of wanted to break the record, So and Trish was like,
I think if you put it out there, you might be at that record at 22 inside that for a photo booth. I've never seen 22 in a photo booth photo before.
Yeah. it was great.
and we always say it doesn't count until you can see everybody's head.
Yeah.
And on
Yes.
that photo, you can see everybody's head in
Yeah.
that picture. So it was really cool.
That's awesome.
So the other thing we do is we print out an extra copy of the photo strip, and we do a bespoke album. So we put the print in the album, and we ask everybody that's in that picture if they would maybe write a little note for the bride and groom. And then at the end of the evening, we give them that book to take home with them. And then we also send them all the digital photos as well. So lots of fun ways to blackmail their friends and family. That's what I always
That's
tell
perfect.
them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
usually give them a flash drive at the end of the night, so they get the book and the flash drive. So by the time we leave, they pretty much have everything.
Everything.
And they
Oh.
love those books. Look at the pictures, number one, but to read the comments that they write throughout. Now, are you staffing? Is somebody staffing it then?
Dan and I.
Wonderful, because I mean, at the end, as the night progresses, and people, having a little bit more fun. If you don't control that book, I mean, you got to make sure the strips are in there correctly. So that's nice that you guys are also on site.
Yes.
And then what about pulling out? I mean, with the trailer, do you wait till the end of the night, or is it if you're available to get out at a certain time?
Most of the venues we go to, we know where we're parking, and we can get out real easy. It's not a problem.
Nice. So you're not waiting until 1 a.m. to try to get out.
No.
No.
That's nice.
So we usually get there about an hour before the event starts, because we don't want to photobomb anybody, right? And then we set up, and then we operate, and then whenever they want us to leave, then that's when we leave.
Nice. And are you providing all the props and everything
Yep.
inside the? Okay, because that's huge. People love that.
Yep. So we didn't set it up at the show today, but we have like a big hat tree that has about 30 hats on it. So we've got the fun hats, like pizza hats and taco hats. And then we've got vintage hats, and we've got really fancy like Kentucky Derby hats and men's fedoras, everything like that. Then we have all the, mustaches and lips, and we've got signs. So if you can't find a prop you like, there's something wrong, right?
Do you ever have couples that want to bring their own specific?
We
Yeah.
do. We do. We actually had a couple this last year, and they were great. They wanted to have props of their cats. So she said, if we make you signs, can we put them out? And I said, yeah, that'd be great. So they brought us their cats, and it's so fun. So Dan and I, while they were having dinner, we took their little cat props and we went inside and stayed out of view of the camera, but we put some of our funny signs with them, made it look like the cats were viewing the photo booth. And
Oh, nice.
it was great. So we kept the signs, and then we still use them now. People love them because the
that's
cats are
great.
adorable. So
Oh, absolutely. If
Yeah.
you're an animal person,
Yeah,
that would attract
absolutely.
you. Absolutely. Yep.
that was fun.
And that's the one thing that we determined too with our props is we were going to buy high-end props because a lot of photo booths, they just have the plastic, the real
Paper.
thick
Yeah, they
paper
fall
ones,
apart.
They
and
do.
they fall apart so easy. So we determined up front we're going to buy the good ones, and we've had some now for 4 or 5 years.
We've had them for 7 years.
Yeah,
Oh,
7
that's really
years.
good.
Yeah, that was wise. That was a wise move. Those cheap ones, I mean, halfway through your event, they're cracking or so that was a good move.
And I always look for props when we go out. Like we were in Pennsylvania this summer. My daughter and I were at a thrift store, and I was chatting with a lady, and she said, oh yeah, we get some really unusual things. She said, like, we just got a crown and a tiara, and she said they're really nice, like heavy metal. And I said, let me see them. And so I went home with them.
So what's the number one tip you can provide a bride and a groom when wanting to reserve your booth?
I think for us, because we're such a specialty item, if you want us, book us soon.
Okay.
Because I've had some disappointed people who waited thinking like, oh, I want to see how our budget's going. And then, we weren't available. So we are more than willing to work with people. Like if I had a gal last night who's not getting married till 2027. And I said, we can do payment plan if that's what you need to do to make it work. She was like, oh, wow. Okay. So yeah, that's probably my biggest thing. If you for sure want us, book us because we'll work with you.
And you're a niche. I mean, you have such a unique niche, and there's only one of them. I'm
There's
assuming
only
you
one.
don't have 2 or 3 of these things. So yeah, if somebody wants to reserve yours, don't sit tight. And it's nice that you're flexible and you'll work with people, especially if they're that far out. They have so much time to get things handled before. It's not just a couple months away.
Exactly.
Nice. So other than the cats, are there any other fun, unique stories you have with the booth or locations you've been to?
So
We've seen a lot.
yeah. So
We've seen a lot. I mean, I don't know if I could say, but we've been mooned before in
Oh,
pictures.
yeah.
Is that between 10 and midnight sometimes?
Yes.
but I would say some of the most fun stories we've had have been the audio guest book that we added a couple years ago. We had a lady this last summer, and she was very serious, very proper looking. And she came up and she picked up the phone and she said, hi, this is Joyce. I'm calling from the CDC. We have your test results back. I know you're away right now, but if you could please call as soon as you return, it's very important. And she hung up, and it was
Oh my
hilarious. It was hilarious.
Now, did you say audio book?
Yes.
Audio guest book. So it looks like the old rotary phones that you and I grew up with,
Yes,
right?
I've seen those.
Yep.
Yeah,
and you
that's
pick it
really
up
fun.
and then you record a message for the bride and groom.
I love
And
it.
then we take it home and Dan compresses all the files into one MP3. And Dan, the other one too was that we had a bride a couple of years ago, and her father had passed away, and they had a voicemail from him someone had on their phone. And it wasn't even like a special voicemail. It was talking about like a play set or something. And they were telling us about it. And Dan said, send it to me and I'll put it on there. And the bride was just like
In tears.
about that.
Yeah.
That's huge. So because I didn't know you did that also. So is that an option to add
That's an
on?
option to add on. Yeah.
And then you can do both the photo booth and the audio
Correct.
telephone.
Yes.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes.
And that's the one thing we've seen a lot of audio guest books like this at weddings, but they're not manned.
Yes.
And so they don't get used very much.
Right.
Having it be part of our package, we are right there the entire night. We're encouraging people all the time to leave messages, and it's used a lot more.
That's a perfect fit.
Yeah.
So when they come out of the camper, we'll say to them, and our audio guest book is sitting right there on the table. If you want to pick it up and leave a message for Andrea and Dan, they would love to hear what you have to say. We have a little sign that gives them some ideas about what to say
Yeah.
on the guest book. So
We've had people pretend to be IRS tax audits, auditors,
I can only
life
imagine.
insurance salespeople.
Yeah, I'm sure you get some characters.
It's
Oh
fun.
yeah, we've had
It's a
people
lot of
call
fun.
and order a pizza and then come back an hour later say, where's my pizza? And it's
fun.
It's just as fun as doing the photo side of it.
Nice. Well, I love what you're doing. You guys bring a good energy, talking to you, meeting you here down at the Bridal Expo. I love the visual of your booth, and obviously we're going to show this. If you're listening to us on an audio platform, you can see video pictures on the video on our website, weddingplanningexperts.com. So if couples want to get a hold of you and learn more about you or maybe reserve your photo booth, how do they connect? Is it website, phone? What do you guys prefer?
She's the expert. I'll let her say
Yeah.
that.
So we have a website. It's www.theshootingcomet.com, and we have an inquiry page that they can fill out, and it goes right to me. I usually try to answer within a couple hours, unless for some reason I'm away and I don't have a cell signal. Otherwise, Instagram too. They could message me on Instagram. Our Instagram is the Shooting Comet Camper. But yeah, and our phone is 616-893-6495, which is my cell.
And one more time, your website, just so we have it.
Yep, it's www.theshootingcomet.com.
theshootingcomet.com. We'll make sure to add that to our website too, so people can easily link to you. And it was great meeting you down here at the Bridal Expo, and I love what you guys are providing, and best wishes.
Thank you guys.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to the Wedding Planning Experts podcast. If you're listening on an audio platform, you may also view the video podcast at weddingplanningexperts.com.